operating out of memory or operating out of imagination. Good afternoon, my name is Paul Simos from Big Vision Life Coach. This afternoon, very quickly, I'd like to talk about when we make a decision, when we have to start a project, when we want to implement some goals, or we want to create a big dream for our life, some big project we want to accomplish. What's the process that we actually go through to make these decisions as to what I do, whether I go forward or which direction do I go forward in? And I like to look at two areas, and I think most people look at these same two areas, and they definitely influence their decision and it influences the direction of their life. So it's very, very important that we pay attention to these two areas and understand the mechanics behind our decisions and how they can dictate our future. So number one is our memory. Do we go into our memory? Do we go into the past and see what did I do back then? Do I look at my successes, my experiences, what worked, what didn't work, what failed? And then based on that, I make my decision now how I will move forward. Or number two, do we go into our imagination and we start to see possibility? We start to see what's possible here. What can I create? What can I do? It's like we've got a clean piece of paper and I can start to script on that bit of paper how my future's going to be, how this project's going to look, how this goal will arrive in my reality. They're the two choices. Now, if we go with number one and we look at our past, that can very quickly influence our current decisions. Let me give you an example. For example, just imagine someone come to me and said, "Hey Paul, we want you to come and do a public speaking talk next week. Can you come and do it?" Soon as they say that, what do? I have to make a decision. So I go into my head and I pull up all the files of my public speaking experiences. And what I bring up is when I was at school, I had to get up and give a talk. And halfway through the talk, I forgot what I was going to say. And I just went quiet. And everybody laughed at me and they thought that was very, very funny. And I didn't think it was funny at the time, but now I can most probably laugh about it. And what else was there? Oh, there's another file there. I had to do another talk somewhere else and that didn't go too well either. So now, based on that information, I'm going to say to the person in front of me, "Look, thank you for the offer. I'm very busy at the moment and I just can't manage my time to do the talk. So I'm just going to pass on this offer." That's one way of doing it. The second way is if I go into my imagination and I say, "Hey, what's possible here? I've got an opportunity to give a talk to 50 people. And I can talk about whatever I want to talk about. How could I educate them? What could I say? This could be wonderful exposure for what I do, my coaching, my training business. What could I create? What could I do? How could I make it magical?" Now, if I do that, I'm going to have a much better experience and my decision is going to be different compared if I went into my memory and just based it on that. And sure, when I look at my imagination, I'm going to go into my memory and I'm going to say, "Hey, what about those two experiences back at school, Paul?" And I say, "Hey, that was back then. I was only 8 or 10 years old. Now I'm a little bit older. I've got a lot more life experience. And what I need to do is just get a few more skills, prep myself to make this event next Thursday really, really awesome." So I spend more time in my imagination working on that. What can I create? Than I do focusing on the past, on the failures, on what didn't work, and let that dictate my life. Do you understand what I mean? Do you see where I'm going with this? If we spend all our time in that past area, in the memory, and it wasn't good, that will definitely dictate our current moment decisions and it will just perpetuate the past into the future. Now, I remember that, who was it now? Albert Einstein, that's who it was. He said that imagination is everything. It's the preview to life's coming events. So The creation model, number one, what we think about all day long, what we talk about all day long, number two, number three comes into our reality. Even Harley Davidson, I remember him saying a quote as well, and he said that when you're writing the script of your life, don't let anyone hold the pen. And when he says anyone, he means other people. You know, your parents, your children, your friends. This is your life. This is your existence. This is your journey. So you just hold the pen, you write what you want. And when he says that, I think also he means the past. Don't let your past dictate what you're going to do now in the present moment. The past was the past. Learn from it. Get the experiences. But don't let that past dictate who you are now, where you want to go. So that's my Mega Living message today, is to be strong. Focus on the imagination. Don't let that past influence you. Learn from the past. We all can learn from the past. Don't let the past dictate who you are today and where you're going to go moving forward. If you loved the video, please click on the like button down below. Also, if you'd like to share to family, friends and work colleagues, hit that share button. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit the red subscribe button. High five. Talk to you next time. See you then.